My name is Outsider2522, and today we're going to be talking about one of the longest, most arduous grinds in the game. Let's talk about it. So my usual plug, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, come join the Discord. It's a growing community, we'd love to have you on board. I love to hear from you guys. I try to interact with every comment that I can, so yeah, get involved. Okay, so Idleon has a lot of grinds that are long-term, but one of them stands out for me as probably one of the last things you're going to do on your account, and that's that there's an achievement for getting 1 million kills with certain classes. Now, with the Elemental Sorcerer, you're probably going to get this while farming rare items. It's going to come naturally. With the Divine Knight, you're probably going to get this while statue farming. Again, these two things are naturally going to occur. When it comes to the Siege Breaker and the Plunder Kill achievement, killing 1 million enemies that are plunderous, it's a little bit more niche. The main reason is Siege Breaker is going to be getting most of its kills from AFK because it just doesn't have a reason not to. It doesn't have increased drop rates or anything like that, which we're looking for. So then I got to questioning, I've seen loads of people saying about which mob is the best one to kill to get plunderous kills. And I thought I would do an experiment just to see whether the numbers matched up to what people were saying. So I picked 4 mobs. 2 from World 5, 2 from World 6, the ones that made most sense to me. Obviously, if you do have any other suggestions, please leave it in the comments. And I ran the experiment in a particular way. So what I basically looked for was double chip doublers on my cards, and my cards were running Crystal Mob Chance. The reason is that there's an enhancement from V-Man so that every 100 skulls you pick up, you get a plunderous mob to spawn. It makes it less random. Alright, so those crystal mobs are really going to increase the chance of doing it. Also running a cookie chip to try and increase the number of crystal mobs I come across. So yeah, that was kind of the approach we were going for. Everything else is a respawn chip. So running a lot of respawn in there. I'm not sure if it affects the mobs, but I had nothing better to use, so I figured respawn was probably the way to go. The 4 mobs I chose were on World 5 Citringes. Main reason being the map is so flat that I had the best chance to do damage on it. Tremor Worms, these were like the MVP for Divine Knights and Buboes, so I thought maybe they would do well with the Siege Breaker. I know a lot of people ran it there. Mini Chiefs in World 6. Again, it's a really flat map. It's great for Divine Knights, so I thought maybe Siege Break would work there. And then Samurais, the final mob in World 6. Being the equivalent of Tremor Worms, just giving huge XP, having a higher density of mob, seeing whether that would work. So, let's go over the results. Okay, so the way that I ran this was that I took from the achievement screen, you can see how many plunderous kills you've got. I took a snapshot of it at the start of a 10-minute period. I then took a snapshot of it at the end of a 10-minute period. I ran it for 10 minutes. The reason why I ran it for 10 minutes is after 10 minutes, any spikes in crystal mobs should smooth out and the numbers should be more accurate. Now, I'll be honest with you, I would have loved to have run this experiment more than once. I just don't have the time at the moment to, and I wanted to get some results out to you guys. Get a video for you guys. I know I've been a bit slow on it recently. But yeah, so a way to improve this would be to run it multiple times, but the variance is great enough that I don't think it's necessary. So with Citringes, in 10 minutes I managed to kill 130 plunderous mobs. If we multiply by 6 to give us an hour, we get an hourly rate of 780 kills. Okay? Just under the 800 mark. This would be more per hour. The reason being is obviously at the beginning you have that slow period where you're starting your skull generation. You're not getting as many consistent plunder mobs. So on Tremor Worms, we got 118 kills in 10 minutes, which when multiplied up to the hourly is 708. Now, that's over a 10%, well, nearly about a 10% drop, 10% lower than Citringes. Because that is such a vast change, I don't think running it multiple times would matter. I think Citringes would always outweigh Worms. So for World 5, I think it's quite clear that Citringes is the way to go. Then we move on to World 6, and we've got Mini Chiefs. Now again, this is a really flat map, works really, really well for Divine Knights and statue farming in World 6. I managed 81 kills in 10 minutes, which rounds up to 486 kills an hour. Significantly lower. Almost half the rate of Citringes. So I can say Mini Chiefs are just not worth going for. Then we move on to Samurais. Now I've heard a lot of people say Samurais give a slightly lower rate, but they give more XP, and the XP outweighs the slower rate. So let's see if the numbers come out the same. Okay, over a 10-minute period, I got 68 kills with Samurais. That works out as 408 an hour. Okay, it is even less than the Mini Chiefs. It is basically half. World 6 is not worth doing if you are farming plunderous mobs. You should stick to World 5 and definitely aim for Citringes. There is no two ways about it. It is crystal clear that Citringes outweigh all other mobs when it comes to this particular farm. So if you ever do want to do it, then that's the way to go. Okay, one final bit of information. What does this look like to unlock the whole achievement? So given the numbers that I managed to get, and again, there's going to be some fluctuation, but say if you were killing 780 Citringes an hour, you need to kill 1 million of them for the achievement. That works out to about 1,282 hours at that rate. If we would divide that by 24 hours, which gives you how many days it would be, it's about 53.4 days of active farming. Okay, now this is where I say it's a very end-game arduous grind. How many people have that amount of time where they don't have something better to do with their account? However, if you are one of those lucky, unlucky, depending on how you look at it, maybe this is a grind you want to take up. Definitely aim for Citringes. It's without a doubt, as I say, the closest to it is Tremor Worms. They're 10% worse. At this point, the XP gain from Tremor Worms probably isn't worth the 10% drop in speed. So I would always recommend Citringes for this grind. The numbers are there. Obviously, if anyone does want to test against this, see whether their numbers match up, feel free. I am always welcome for people to test. If you do get different numbers, let me know in the comments. Let's have a discussion about it. Let's try and figure out what you might be doing differently to me. As always, thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to like, share and subscribe if you have found this useful. You've been amazing. Take care.